Story time about how one of my male-centered friends lost everything she had behind a man. Just a little bit.
How does one go from this, to now brace yourself, this?
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all paid. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me.
Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. Imagine being so male-centered to the point where you lose yourself in that person. You are no longer an individual where you can think for yourself. You basically lose yourself within this relationship. And I always like to bring up the whole Krishan and Blueface situation because that's the main relationship that I feel a lot of people can relate to and see what I mean. But imagine being so male or female focused to the point where you become that person and you completely lose yourself. You step out of your body and now somebody else steps in. Let's get into it because my opinion will be in the comment section or will be at the end of the video. Let's get into it because this might be a little spiritual than you think. Let's get into that.
Story time about how one of my male-centered friends lost everything she had behind a man. Just a little bit of background information. When we first became friends, I knew that she was male-centered, but it wasn't to the point where I felt like I had to stop being friends with her. You know how we all have friends who kind of just do dumb stuff when it comes to men? That's how I thought that she was. She also was a very big user of dating apps, and she would always meet men on dating apps and invite them back to her home where she lived alone. And to me, I always thought like, girl, are you crazy? Like, that's not okay. So fast forward, we decided to go to an R&B concert that's at the State Farm Arena. After the concert, we decided to go from the arena to Midtown to have late night happy hour at STK. Everything's good at STK. We're eating, kikiing, having a fine time. I get up and I go to the bathroom, right? So I come back from the bathroom and she like, girl, why this man come up to me and start having a conversation with me? Girl, he was tall. He was 6'7". I said, well, oh, okay. I said, well, where is he, right? She said, oh, he was just getting carried out. I was like, dang, I missed him. I said, did you get his information? Did you get his number or anything? She like, nah, girl, we just was having a quick conversation. So I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So we continue to eat and finish up the rest of the night, right? Now, please keep this in mind for the story. I drove to her house where she lives in Lawrenceville. I parked my car there. We Ubered from her house to State Farm Arena for the concert because we didn't want to deal with parking and all of that. After the concert, the plan was for us to go back to her house and kind of have like a slumber party. So just chill, watch movies, talk, whatever. So we finish eating, and once we finish up, we walk outside of SCK to catch our Uber, and 6'7", we gonna call him 6'7", 6'7" and his friend are outside. Now, the way that she had explained this encounter, I'm expecting to see some Adonis, y'all. I'm expecting to see this tall, just real good looking man, right? When I seen him, I was like, now, he was in fact tall. Was he 6'7"? I don't know. When I seen him, girl, straight, I'm sorry, but he looks like a bum. He had on basketball shorts, like flip-flops, and a t-shirt. He didn't have no haircut. I'm like, this the man that you're talking about right now? So when I see him, I'm not impressed at all, right? But at that point, they see each other. He walks up to my friend and is kind of making small talk because, mind you, we're waiting for our Uber. Or we hadn't ordered our Uber yet, but we were in the process of ordering our Uber. So 6'7" is with a friend, right? And so I'm kind of looking like, I said hi, of course, but I'm kind of looking like... So she's sitting here having conversation, like small talk with this man. And so while I'm waiting, I asked a friend to come snap some pictures of me in front of the STK sign. So he does that. He took some pictures of me, and then we had like little small talk conversation. By the time that happened, our Uber showed up for us to go back to her house. So now our Uber is here, and at this point, I guess my friend is 6'7", have exchanged numbers or social media or whatever. I say bye. We hop in the car. We going back to her house. Remember, I told you that we were in Midtown at STK. She lived in Lawrenceville, which is a good 40-minute drive. So we make it back to her house. And remember I told you that the plan was for us, I'm thinking the plan is for us to have a sleepover, kiki, watch movies, do whatever, and then I'll leave the next day. When we get back to her house, she tells me, oh yeah, I invited 6'7" and his friend back over here. I said, I'm sorry, what? You did what? Why? She like, oh, we're not gonna be doing nothing really, you know what I'm saying? I just want to talk to them more, and we're not doing nothing else, so we might as well invite them over. First of all, we don't know these men from Adam, and while they did not look like threatening men, it's still extremely dangerous. Why would you invite men over that you don't even know to your home? You know what I'm saying? So me, I'm irritated about it, but I'm like, they didn't seem like they was super threatening. And me, I got my pew pew, so I'm like, even if they try something, you know what I'm saying, I'm like, nuck if you buck, for real. So they come over, it's cool, it's chill, whatever. We end up playing Uno, right, sitting at the table. And so we play a few games of Uno, and then we kind of break off into having our separate conversations. I'm talking to the friend about his job because he had a very intriguing, interesting job. So we start having conversation about that, and then I notice that my friend and 6'7" are no longer sitting at the table. So after talking to his friend, I'm like, wait a minute, let me go see where they at, just to make sure, like, ain't no funny business going on. So I go upstairs, y'all. Why are they both in her bed? He's in her bed with his outside clothes on, talking about, oh yeah, I'm just up here rubbing her feet, you know, giving her a massage and stuff. I'm like, you got him in a bed with his outside clothes on, and y'all just up here having a whole little good time, and you got him massaging your feet like you don't even know this guy. What are you doing? So at this point, it's gotta be about 1:30. So I'm like, well, I'm about to wrap it up. I'm about to put my pajamas on and probably get in the bed. So yeah. So she like, yeah, it's time to wrap it up. And so I head back downstairs, and they follow me back downstairs to tell 6'7" and his friend goodnight. So we wrap everything up, we tell them goodnight, they leave, and we both go to bed. The next day we have breakfast, and we're kind of just recapping everything and just chit-chatting, right? And so I'm like, ask her, I'm like, so did you like him, or were you feeling him? Are you interested in him? She like, girl, no. She like, girl, I am going to block him. I don't like him at all. He is not my type. No. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, I figured that he wouldn't be your type, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool, right? Never spoke nothing else of them. So fast forward a few months later, me and her go and we have dinner just to catch up and chit chat. So I bring it up like, oh yeah, have you talked to those guys from that night at the concert? She like, girl, no. She like, I blocked them and never talked to him. I was like, oh, okay, bet. Never, I'm thinking I'm never gonna hear from about them again. It's gonna get good, y'all, I promise. Please just stick through this with me. Okay, I'm back, y'all, for part 2. So after me and my friend had dinner, life started getting really, really difficult for her. Like, she lost her mom and her sister, like, within weeks of each other. And she was the person in the family that was in charge of everything. So she had to plan the funerals, and it was just a lot going on, right? And so, you know, me just as her friend on the outside looking in, I'm like, girl, you know, if you need anything, let me know. If there's anything I can do, if you just want to talk, like, whatever. Like, you know, I'm here for you. Our communication during this time was patchy, but I expected it to be like that because, you know, it was a lot going on in her life. So I wasn't, you know, I didn't feel no type of way that we were not talking that much. So once things with her family died down, I get this text message from her, and she like, yeah, I'm thinking about moving to Texas. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? She was born and raised in Georgia, and she was going through a lot within her life. And so I'm like, moving to Texas might be a fresh start. But things was moving super duper fast, y'all. Like, very weirdly fast. Like, within the month, she had quit her job, sold all of her stuff in her townhome, put her house on the market. Like, it was moving expeditiously. So I'm like, okay, you say you want to move to Texas, and literally a few weeks later you done already sold all your stuff. But maybe, you know, she was just that determined to get out of Georgia, so that's understandable. Long story short, y'all, this girl ended up completely ghosting me, right? So I would reach out to her like, hey, did you know, how's everything going with the move? Did you need any help with the move? Have you sold all your stuff? You know, just trying to get updates like you would from a friend, right? Nothing from her. So after a few months go by and I don't hear nothing from her after she moved to Texas, I'm like, okay, maybe she moved to Texas and just wanted to completely start her life over, forget everybody that she knew in Georgia and whatever. So I'm like, okay, it is what it is. So some months go by, y'all. This gotta be like 4 to 6 months later, right? After not hearing from her, I get this random text message and it's from her. She like, hey girl, so sorry that I went ghost. It's been so much going on. I really would love to talk to you. I really would love to catch up. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how's the move to Texas? Are you liking Texas? What's going on? Y'all, tell me why this girl moved to Texas with 6'7". When she called me and told me that she moved to Texas with 6'7", my mouth was on the floor. Because mind you, this is the same man that you told me months ago that you was never gonna speak to again, and now you done moved to Texas with him? I was flabbergasted. Not only did she move to Texas with 6'7", 6'7" was in the military, and I guess he was like had a disability or something where he wasn't working. He didn't have a job. Mind you, y'all, she was paying all of the bills. She paid all of their moving expenses. She paid to move 2 of her cars. She got a job. He did not have a job. So she telling me all of this, and I'm just, my mind is blown. I'm at a loss for words. I can't even talk. I'm just listening. She done moved with this man to Texas, and he did exactly what a man would have done. He started cheating on her. Hello? So she finds out that he starts cheating on her, right? Because apparently, obviously, they moved to Texas together. They became together in a relationship. I missed all of that, right? She didn't tell me. So he starts cheating on her. I mean, he's taking women on dates in her car, just moving real foul. Like, I think he was possibly had an STD. Like, it got real crazy. Like, he was losing his mind. So long story short, things between her and 6'7" go completely south. And I'm just like, you moved to Texas with a man that you told me that you was never gonna speak to again. I was just like, I can't even believe it. I was just like, how did this even happen? And so when you move to Texas, different states have different laws, and when you move to Texas, I believe you can't just break a lease. Like, you know how in some places, some states, you can like pay whatever, and then you can break your lease and just move out. In Texas, I believe you cannot break a lease without paying up the rent for however long the lease is. I'm not sure, but I forgot to tell y'all that in the midst of all of this, she also got fired from her job. Now she don't have a job. He doesn't have an income. She was paying all of the bills. She has pretty much depleted all of her savings, all of the money that she was getting from her job. Like, she has no money. She doesn't have any money to break the lease, and neither does he. So they're going back and forth trying to figure out what they're going to do, because at this point, she wants to move back to Georgia, right? But 6'7", he wants to stay in Texas because he's found himself and he has this new life in Texas now. Child, I was just like, what the heck? So they worked out something, right, for her to move back to Georgia and he stay in Texas and continue to pay the rent on wherever they live. When I say she lost everything, she lost everything. So now you in Texas with this man that you barely know, that you met not even a year ago, that you done moved 1,000 miles to Texas with. You don't have a job. You don't have no money. He don't have no money. Y'all not together. Y'all just coexisting. You don't have nothing. It's nothing that you can do. Okay, go to part 3, y'all. I'm not trying to make these too long. That's gonna be the last part. Okay, y'all, this part 3, the last part, because I gotta go. So thankfully, my friend and 6'7" was able to come to an agreement that he was gonna stay in the apartment and she was going to take her name off the lease and move back to Atlanta. She packed what little that she had. I think her dad or somebody had to help her move back to Atlanta because she didn't have any money or anything. Now, I'm not sure what she did with her cars. Maybe she still had one of her cars. And I think she sold the other one maybe for some money. I can't really remember because it's been a while. But long story short, she was able to go back to Atlanta. And so she moved back to Atlanta. She had to start completely over. I think she was living like in her dad's basement until she could get a job and get back on her feet and start everything over. Now, here's what got me, right? Because I'm like, okay, you back in Atlanta. And she was kind of reaching out to me like, oh, you know, I want to possibly, you know, we can go out for coffee or something and kind of revive our friendship. And I'm kind of like, So we never made it to coffee, and I'm about to tell y'all why. This girl got the nerve to tell me, basically we was talking about her getting back on her feet or whatever, right? So this probably a month or two maybe after she's moved back to Georgia. She like, yeah, I've been looking for a job. Yeah, I'm staying with my dad in his basement, but this is not gonna last too long. She proceeds to say, yeah, my man told me that I can come stay with him maybe until I get on my feet. I said, your man? I kid you not, y'all. The last text message I ever sent that girl said, oh wow, new man already? I think I blocked her, or I just did not respond to her. I was just like, oh yeah, you gotta go. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Quit playing. Quit playing. What do you mean you have a new man already? She had met a new man either on a dating site, or it was a man that she had already knew that was on a dating site. What do you mean you got a new man? I was so just, I was outdone. I was just like, yeah, it's no room on God's green earth for us to ever have a friendship. You went through all of that just dealing with a man. You trying to tell me that you can't be by yourself for 2.5 seconds before you hop into another situation? She is the definition, y'all, of male-centered. And you have to be so careful when dealing with male-centered women, because they be the type of women that will do anything for a man. Those murder shows that you see that be like For My Man, where women be crashing out and unaliving people over men, those be those types of females. And you don't want that type of female around you because they are dangerous and scary. What do you mean you have a man already? Are you cool? So yeah, y'all, long story short, I never responded to her after that message. She might have said something to me after that. I can't really remember, but she wasn't even a bad person. Like, she was a cool girl. You know what I'm saying? She was a cool chick. It's just, you know, I try not to get too involved in my friends' love lives, because at the end of the day, it's your life. But I don't even want that type of mentality attached to me, because they say birds of a feather flock together, and I promise you, we was not birds of the same kind. I'm not a bird at all.
How does one go from this, to, now brace yourself, this? This girl has 3 tattoos of her girlfriend on her face, 1 on her chest, 1 on her belly, and 1 on her hand. That's 6 tattoos. Just like I said with Krishan, that there gotta be some form of witchcraft or love spell involved here, because what? This literally makes no sense. This was a beautiful woman before she got with that stud. You cannot tell me somebody didn't do something to that girl, because the thing is, she been obsessed with that stud. When you want somebody that bad and you're willing to destroy yourself over them, this is the result. I'm sure somebody did a love spell. Somebody dabbled in something, because now this girl, her entire thing is being degraded by the stud. Now, money cannot be that damn good. Like, she gets on the internet, gets on her knees, and eats like a dog on the floor, sits there and has all these babies for her baby father, who's a stud. This girl puts on clown makeup and quite literally clowns herself on the internet for a living. Her whole brand, everything about her is being Young Lo's baby mother. Like, I understand mental illnesses are real, but I'm pretty damn sure something else is keeping you there, babes. Because yes, the money can be good, but at some point, as a woman with children, you have to have looked at yourself and seen, like, what have you done with yourself? And the fact that she is still there doing the same thing. Personally, take them to a witch doctor and have them figure this out, because this is insane.
Now, I love what Rebecca said about it possibly having some sort of ritual, some sort of love spell, some sort of binding spell that is in that relationship with that young lady and her man. My thing is, when it comes to that, first of all, let's talk about the first relationship, right? When the girl basically lost everything. In my opinion, it could have been a negative energy that's coming off of the man that causes her to basically lose everything. Because in my opinion, right, when you lay down with a man, especially a woman, when the man have sex with you, when you have sex with a man, you are receiving everything. So if this man has the energy of a bum, don't have anything going for them, guess what? You're going to start picking up on that because you're receiving everything that person is sending. That is the reason why I highly recommend, if you're going to lay down with a man, let it be some man that could actually do something for you. Because one, you could possibly get pregnant and now you're stuck with somebody else's baby, someone's baby that can't even help you with this said child that you bring into this life if you decide to keep the child. But also, you can catch something that you cannot get rid of. This is another one because he actually gave her something that she could not get rid of, allegedly, right? Which is very much, that's something that you don't want. But also, you can catch on their energy. You can harness on you can hitch a ride. Their energy can hitch a ride with you. Now, your situation start going downhills, right? Because at the end of the day, and even if, for example, that's not the case, if this man, and imagine you having your own car and this man now is using your own car to basically go cheat on you with other girls, driving your car, impressing other girls, right? But when I hear that, all I can think about is good for you. Because why? You're the one that ended up moving to a different state, paying for the moving fee to move to a different state to be with a man. So basically paying this man, begging this man and paying him to be with you. That's what it sounds like to me. But also, you're also picking up all the negative energy that comes with this said man. And on top of that, he's cheating on you. Why? As he should. Because why? You literally taking care of this man. You're carrying this man on your back, and then you're paying for him to cheat at the same time. So in my opinion, if this happens to you, if this is a real story, good for her. She deserves everything that she gets, right? She deserves everything that she gets because there's no way. And the fact that she cannot even sit down for 1 second to release and do a cord cutting to remove that energy of the first guy, she decides to jump into another relationship, meanwhile still living with her father in his basement. When you could have done so much better in life if you stayed in the path that you stayed on, but you decided to get distracted with the man, which things happen, right? But you get distracted with the man, he completely warned you. For example, the whole STD aside, the whole girlfriends aside, him using her, him making her pay for his lifestyle and all that stuff, all of this aside, imagine if he is dealing with another woman, or prior to meeting you, he was with another woman, and that woman is not ready to let him go yet, and she ended up doing some sort of love spell, or she is bitter, whatever the case may be, right? Because they always assume the women are the bitter one. So let's just imagine this lady did some sort of, how would I say that, revenge ritual on this man because he broke her heart, used her, abused her, and then left her, right? Now it's going to trickle down to the person who lays next to this person, so that young lady is the one that's going to take the effect of this ritual that somebody else just did on this man. Whenever you have sex with him, you pick up a little bit of that ritual, and every time, and that's how your life starts going downhill. As soon as she met the guy, she lost her mom and her sister within weeks apart, which is crazy, first of all. And then you losing everything. You didn't even think that was a red flag. I mean, the red flags were slapping you upside your head, and you just basically ignored it. A lot of times you have to stop looking at looks and actually look, because at the end of the day, the looks of a man is always going to blind you. You're never going to see the true person because you're so focused on their looks. First of all, the looks don't pay bills, and usually a lot of times the good looking ones are the ones that you got to carry on your back. So but the looks don't pay bill. But the look is distracting people all over the world, all over the place in relationships, because people are not looking past the looks. How does this person treat their sister? How does this person treat their mom? How does this person treat the waiter, the waitress when you're at a restaurant with them? How do they treat them? Because it's not going to make you any better, right? I used to say this. I know this is like going against what I say, is that I would be like, you know, I don't care how my man treat other people as long as he like treats me great, like I'm the queen and all that stuff. But now I realize that that's not the best way of thinking, because at the end of the day, if that person don't know how to treat other people, they're going to end up treating you this way eventually, right? They're only treating you nice now because they like you. Once they start not to like you, and once life starts kicking in, then you're going to really see the truth in, because at the end of the day, people are really good at their representative. People are really good at wearing this mask, and then once the mask fall, that's when you start to see all the parts that you missed. All the, you know, the honeymoon phase is gone now. That's when you start to see the true person. So you really got to look inside, and not inside, because you never really know someone, but you really got to open your pupils, open your eyes to really see what's going on. But in this girl's face, from the beginning, she didn't open her eyes. Because what do you mean you're inviting people to your house you just met? Just because they don't look dangerous doesn't mean they're not. Because you never know. People could look like angels, but still be dangerous. So you gotta really be careful and not go off of the look of the cover of the book, you know, because you just never know. They said don't judge a book by its cover. Do not judge a book by its cover, okay? Because people have shown us so many times that you cannot do that. This is an episode of For My Man, because it's giving very much For My Man. And now, before I end, let's talk about the two girls. The girl looked like her soul was being drained from her body, like as if like her energy is being harnessed for other things. Look at how she used to be when she used to be, you know, at the strip club dancing and all that stuff. She looked good. And I noticed that too in a lot of relationships, where the partner will look like they basically become a different person when they are in the relationship. They start getting more pimples, they start gaining a lot of weight, they start looking worse than they used to be. And it's not big, you know, sometimes people are just really happy they gain like happy weight, but you notice how it's always the woman that gets the happy weight, it's never the man, you know? Pay attention to that, because you'll start to notice, because I noticed that. And my thing is, a lot of times the person that you're with could be draining your energy and you just don't know that. So anyways, talk to you later. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section. Bye.